to die by the sword you helped forge.
Sometimes I ask myself what it all means. Why does God allow such things to happen? All this slaughter and revenge, over and over.
Tell me, boy, who are you? What in hell's name happened?
I've come from Skalitz. They burned it to the ground, slaughtered everyone.
Who burned it to the ground?
That's him. That's the bastard who led the attack at Skalitz and killed my parents.
I'm sure we're all agreed that all this unrest must come to an end.
I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that whoreson who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
To put a stop to this senseless war.
Hej, witajcie ponownie w kolejnym odcinku z gry z King.com. Na czym to skończyliśmy? Skończyliśmy na tym, że poinformowaliśmy właśnie dzika, co się wydarzyło w wiosce, w pojezdni, w jeżdżalni koni, w Newholfie. Okej, teraz musimy znaleźć tych bandytów, co napadli właśnie ten zajezdny i są prawdopodobnie w Użycach. Musimy tam się udać. Użyce są tutaj. I tam musimy się udać. Teraz spróbujemy się teleportować tam, szybko podróż. Żeby nie zbierać zbędnego czasu. Oho. Kupca napadli. Ale już chyba uciekli. No. Uciekli. Przestraszyli się mnie. No tego się nie spodziewałem. Myślałem, że będzie walka. Okej. No, okradać go nie będę okradał.
What have we got here? Entertainment. Great. Gone weak at the knees, have you? Enough! I yield. You hear? I surrender.
You're not going anywhere armed. Leave your weapon on the ground and get lost.
So be it.
Czekaj stąd.
What are you doing? What's the answer to my prayers? Just when I wanted to vent my rage on someone. Now you're done for.
No ty.
No, kurwa! Cunt!
Już?
No surrender. We finish what we started.
You beast!
Będzie bandyto. Co ty tu masz? Coś wartościowego przede wszystkim. O. Kiłdzika. Proszę. Stare buty to nawet nie interesują. Jabłko to też nie. Pitną wodę też nie. Okej. Zwykła tarcza. I siekiera drwala. To na konia trzeba będzie chyba przenieść, no. To jest jakieś niezbadane miejsce. Co to jest? Kupiec. Co mi z tego kupca, jak nie mogę się z nim targować?
Coming.
Kaczmarka. Ja bym chciał to sprzedać. Mamy tylko 150, także w sumie szału nie ma.
A meal to go with the ale, please.
Andrzej.
God be
One
with
ale
you.
over here, please.
I'll bring it right away.
How's trade? Any trouble around these parts?
Nothing we can't handle.
Would you have a job for me? Maybe you're in need of some supplies?
Fresh meat.
No problem. I can go to Ratai and buy some for you.
I could send a stable boy for that. I'm talking about game.
Game? But that's near impossible to buy. I'd have to hunt it myself. And that's against the law. Ah.
Of course, I'd pay you well for anything you bring me. Even more if it's something in particular I want. And if you help me out here and there, I'll teach you something useful in return.
That's an interesting proposition.
I'd like a beer.
I've only got 2 hands.
I'd like to learn to fight better with an axe.
Certainly.
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you.
Maybe another time.
Nie. Szkoda pieniążków teraz.
Hey, look out. No.
Okej, widzimy może coś. Tu coś jeszcze jest, jakieś zadanie.
Young man.
Co chcesz?
You waiting for someone?
Not anymore, young man. I was waiting for you. You look like a clever sort of fellow, and chivalrous too. You wouldn't
Jakaś
be the damsel in
stara
distress,
rura.
would you?
Why? Do you know of one somewhere?
Now, handsome. Don't be mean. I've got a job to offer you. There's an old grandad sitting in the alehouse there. Yesterday he made use of my
latawica.
services and he said he'd pay me in the morning. Only now he pretends he doesn't know me. I want you to take the groschen he owes me from his purse and bring them to me.
And what do I get out of it?
I'll give you half of what you get off him. It ain't a lot, but it's more than I've seen for quite a while.
I'm on it. I'll be back with the coin before you know it.
Stara kurwa. Dobra. Na razie tego nie będziemy robić, zajmiemy się zadaniem fabularnym. Chciałem tylko tak zajrzeć właśnie, żeby coś można było sprzedać, ale no niestety. W drugą stronę. Okej, cały czas prosto. Dobrze, nie trzeba się za każdym razem schylać, jak się przez te gałązki takie przejeżdża. A co to? Zwłoki jakieś?
What are you doing, you murderer?
What the hell are you talking about?
Everyone knows what a troublemaker you are.
I've got myself in a scrape or two, but that doesn't make me a killer.
You're most likely right. All right. I suppose you're innocent after all.
I'm glad you saw sense. And what were you doing here exactly?
What do you mean by that?
It'll be easier if you just confess.
All right, then. I did it. I didn't want to kill her, only to scare her. She lunged at me, wanted to take the knife from me. And this is how it ended. You don't really have to tell anyone, do you? And you won't regret it.
I won't take coin to cover up a murder.
Szczęście nie chciałem tego tak zrobić, ale babka bandyta. Okej, w którą stronę? W lewo. A wydanie w prawo. To coś jest. Czy tam nie ma? O, coś tu jest. Jakieś zwierzę. No właśnie, zapomniałem tej komandy celowej włączyć. Za każdym razem trzeba to robić. Głowę dostał. Strzały mi się skończyły. No, od razu lepiej. Już jestem przeciążony. Kurczę. Mogę skurować jeszcze tych królików. Dobrze, jadę? Dobrze. Czemu się tak odwraca? Dziwnie. Mam cię. Bandyto. No co ty masz jakiegoś drogocennego? O, kielich, kiełdzika, strzała. Pałka nie będzie. Rękawice łowcy. Serio?
God. Your end is nigh.
Nie no, akurat to jest jakieś głupie. Czemu on mnie, kurde, orabuje?
Enough. You know how this one ends. Kunda. What's the matter? Come on, bollocks. Stop, I beg you.
Czekaj, Francu. Trochę to dziwne. Takie kurcze. Okej, miecz. Co my tu możemy zblokować? Cięcie, cięcie, pchnięcie. Cięcie, pchnięcie, pchnięcie. Może po kolei. Czy tak lewo, prawy dół, środek.
What are you doing there? Hey, what are you up to?
Cieje postrach. Pobawię się. Chodziło też by było na czerwono chyba. Nowe dodatki. Super. Umiejętności. Drobna kradzież. Co to jest? Podnosi twoje szanse na obłowanie kogoś w tym samym poziomie charyzmy co ty. Takie osoby zwykle ubierają się podobnie do ciebie. Okej. W czasie robienia zwłok znajdziesz więcej pieniędzy. To się przyda.
Hey,
tu. Dostał. O, strzały są. I zielone nogawice. Zobaczymy, co to będzie jakiegoś w miarę lepszego. O kurczę. Wypadek. Tam może kogoś spotkamy, komuś coś sprzedamy. Trochę tutaj jest tych... Szukamy bandyty. Tu są jakieś miejsca niezbadane. Przy okazji sobie obejrzymy. Może akurat będzie coś, jakiś sprzedawca. Jakiś młynarz by się przydał. Tam coś było. Tutaj jest. Rzeźnik. A czy rzeźnik kupi mi takie mięsko? Chyba nie kupi.
I'm looking for a fellow who lives here, but I don't know his name. Do you know anyone with a limp?
That'll be Proboszcz, gallows bait if ever I saw one. His place is at the end of the village, next to the stream. Take him and welcome.
No proszę. Się da dowiedzieliśmy, gdzie jest. Okej, ja bym chciał sobie porozmawiać z rzeźnikiem i sprzedać mu coś. Bo po drodze nam się trafiło kilku bandytów. Już kurczę. Gdzie tu się do niego wchodzi?
God be with you.
Kurczę.
Lord Almighty.
Tutaj ktoś jeszcze jest. O, handlarz końmi. Konika na pewno nie będziemy kupować, bo na razie nie ma sensu najmniejszego. Kurki, uciekać. Okej, sobie chyba wszystko mam już napublikowane tutaj. Tu to lubisz. Ale my się przejdziemy tutaj. Za każdym razem jak włączę mapę, zawsze gdzieś się konikiem zablokuje. Chociaż stoi w miejscu. Tu się coś dzieje. Dobra, tam jakieś zgromadzenie jest. Także tam się zaraz udamy, ale chciałbym na początek sobie tutaj to wszystko odblokować i sprzedać co nieco, bo nie mogę się poruszyć. Co się tam dzieje? Okej. Tutaj są jeszcze chyba jakieś punkciki. No kurczę, no widzicie co się dzieje? To są co? To jest chyba ten piekarz właśnie. Precelek. Jeszcze jest gdzieś tutaj coś. Coś, żeby mi skóry sprzedał. Ziarniaszku, no to też nie jest mi potrzebne. To idziemy tutaj z powrotem. Tu jest handlarz. Chyba wszyscy śpią. Jakiś obóz mi się przynął. Okej, tutaj sobie można postrzelać z łuku. Strzelnica. Coś jeszcze jest. Tutaj coś jeszcze jest. Skryba. Po jej końcu może się domyśleć, że to chodzi o jakieś czytanie, biblioteka. No i chyba tylko tyle, to wszystko zostało zbadane. No i nic, tego handlarza będziemy musieli odwiedzić, ale trzeba się iść przykimać. kurczę, nie ma gdzie. Ewentualnie w karczmie zobaczymy. Może będzie jakieś wolne miejsce do spania. Bo jest jakaś przecież możliwość.
What is it?
No kurczę, też nic takiego nie sprzedam. Ojojoj.
Have you got a bed for the night?
Certainly. For how long?
Just the one night?
Sure, but groschen first. These are harsh times.
Here you go.
Dwa grosiki, nie ma
Got it all
sprawy.
to yourself. No one will disturb you.
Where do I go to sleep?
You'll have no trouble finding it. Right inside the door to the building, there's a ladder up to the loft. Your bed's ready there, and a trunk for your belongings.
Skrzynię na moje rzeczy? Gdzie jest ta drabina? Tu jest drabina. Tam będzie można chyba się włamać. Tam skrzynki widziałem, że były. No to chyba sobie pospałem. O, udało się. Wystarczyło tylko po prostu puścić klawisz wychodzenia. Śpi. Przy okazji właśnie jeszcze odwiedzimy handlarza, sprzedamy to i lecimy zrobić tą misję właśnie. Super. Powstań. Ma takie te dziwne ręce. Jakby normalnie jakiś, nie wiem... O, takie światło tylko tak padało. Okej. Gdzie jest ten handlarz? Handlarzyna. Tutaj jesteś. Idź na lewo. Okej. Dobrze, dobrze. No, gdzie ten handlarz jest? Bo tu nikogo nie widzę. Nie chcę się włamywać. Nie no, czas damy troszkę do 8 godziny. To chyba wszyscy śpią do 8. Nikt nie wstaje o 6 rano. Przeważnie 6 rano taka już troszkę widno się robi. I w grach zazwyczaj jest tak, że już po prostu ludzie chodzą, już są interaktywni. Można z nimi cokolwiek robić. A tutaj 8 rano.
I'm looking for a fellow who...
That'll be Proboszcz.
Dobra. Kupiec.
Jesus Christ be praised.
No szału nie ma. Najpierw sprzedamy to, co jest najbardziej waży. Najwięcej. Czyli tak, to sprzedamy. To siekiera. Skóra dzika to kradzione, to nikt tego nie kupi. Jeżeli to ma 9, to ma 11, dobra. Czyli to sprzedajemy. Niebieskie łuki też. Dużo w sumie nie zostało. Jedną. Jeszcze jedną. Kielicha już mu nie sprzedam, nie ma tyle pieniędzy. Co bym mógł jeszcze sprzedać? Sobie nic więcej już takiego nie sprzedam. Wszystko jest na tym. Tam sprzedam. No. Sprawdź koszyk. Jeszcze się potargujemy. Wyczyścimy go do końca.
Well, are we agreed? Close. Drop the price a bit more and we'll shake on it.
O, party.
Oh, that's a decent prop.
Okej, troszkę mamy już mniej tego. Będziemy się już normalnie poruszać. A jeszcze zobaczymy, może ma coś ciekawego, że można było kupić. Przy okazji jeszcze coś się sprzeda. Może inaczej. I jeszcze odwiedzimy tego, zobaczymy. Co on to ma w ogóle? Co to jest? Książki, mapy? Skryba.
God be with you.
I'd like to learn to read.
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and a few...
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can get...
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of...
50 groszy, dobra.
Then we may as well start.
He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart.
Uczymy się czytać.
Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell me, what have you learned?
Maybe I better read it again.
No need to rush. It's always hard at first.
No dobra, ja nie czytałem tego. Czyli przeczytajmy to na razie, a później widzę, że trzeba odpowiadać na pytania. Przeczytajmy sobie pewnego. Daj wieśniak inne z gniazda, jak gęsi swoje znalazł. Można z język połamać. Dobra, czyli podobno nie umie jeszcze dobrze czytać. Są właśnie litery poprzestawione tak jak on jeszcze umie. Czyli no, fajnie to zrobione. Dobra, jedno gniazdo gęsi swoje znalazł tam jaja całe, żółte i błyszczące. Kiedy je podniósł, okazało się ciężkie jak ołów, więc chciał je wyrzucić precz. Może przez. Myślał, że od sztuczka czy żart, ale po chwili namysłu zabrał je do domu i wkrótce zachwytem odkrył, że jego jajo było z czystego złota. Każdego ranka zdarzało się to samo i wkrótce stał się bogaczem, sprzedając jajka. Wraz z wzrostem jego bogactwa rosła także jego chciwość, chcąc zdobyć całe złoto, które było w gęsi aż zabił ją i otworzył inne, znalazł tam jednak nic. Dobra, mniej więcej to tak było. Czyli o gęsie składające złote jaja.
I've read the book.
Wonderful. So tell.
Było coś tam jakiś męż gęsi. Chciwość nie popłaca.
But being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. You've uncovered the meaning hidden in the letters. Like I told you, books are valuable, and the words that you place in them ought to be no less so.
Does that mean that I can read then?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To fully learn your way around words will take a lot more reading yet. Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's no getting away from Latin. There's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back. You need not understand it, but you should master the letters.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me to tackle Latin.
You're a clever lad. You'll manage.
Okej. Może z tą książką od łaciny to może sobie na razie darujemy. Okej, to na razie sobie darujemy. Tam pierwsza lekcja czytania już mamy ze sobą. Więc uda mi się teraz i kontynuujmy fabułę. Przydałby się jakiś kamień szlifierski i troszkę bym sobie miecz podrobił, odostrzył. No bo to jest ten Lubosz. Gdzieś tu na dole był. Jeśli to ludzie chyba wtedy... O, tam dalej. Zebrali do niego domem. O, jest właśnie. Chyba nie żyje.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here. That's what you call nothing to see. I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say you had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosz. Or all that's left of him.
O kurde.
Sakra. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Who was Limpy Lubosz?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now, and nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
Dziwne.
Good day to you. What do you need?
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
Of course. Ask away.
That man Lubosz who was murdered, what was he like?
He was a drunk who was always looking for a fight. Nobody liked him much, but I wouldn't wish anyone.
Ten gada, że spokojnie, że się od ludzi ten, a ten że pił ciągle szukał bójki. Dziwne.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Well, now I think of it, I hadn't seen him around for a while. No idea where he was skulking.
Do you know what Lubosz was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
Not a clue.
Do you know anyone Lubosz used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
He was a loner. He didn't even have any mates in the tavern.
Oho, dobra. Czyli powiązanie jest.
Thank you.
God be with you.
Is there anything suspicious going on in the...
Indeed there is. Just last night, Father Godwin was here, calling fire and brimstone down on old Gertrude, the herb woman. He's not one to make a fuss over some trifle either. And that's not all. Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the groom has been up to at the stables. When the head groom told the lads here, they fell off their seats laughing.
To nie ma żadnego powiązania z fabułą. Może o coś
Come in the
będzie
name
w
of
sumie.
Sir Hanush of Lipa.
I don't know.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Come to think of it, he was in church yesterday. He was even talking to the priest and went to confession. I was wondering what he was up to take to the faith all of a sudden. But I suppose no sin's too dark for God's mercy.
O proszę, ale się udało.
Do you know what Lubosz was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I was coming from the tavern very late that night, and I caught a glimpse of someone entering the village. He looked like he was in a hurry. It was only a shadow against the sky, but after what happened, I wouldn't wonder.
That man Lubosz who was murdered, what was he like?
I didn't really know him. He kept to himself, even in the tavern.
Do you know anyone Lubosz used to spend time with? Relatives or friends?
Not with anyone from the village. He used to sit in the tavern next to us sometimes, but he never said much.
That's all. Thank you.
No, coś pomógł. Okej. Śniaczka, a ta Morunia? Morunia. No, coś będzie wiedziała.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know how I can help you.
Have you noticed anything?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time. And then yesterday, he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him.
Do you know what Lubosz was doing the day
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all.
That's all.
Okej. Jakiś wieśniak, kupiec.
What are you doing?
Good day to you.
Myśl ucznictwa.
Good day to you.
I've come in...
Sir,
Have you noticed anything
I didn't see much of him lately. Not even in the tap.
That's all.
No bo coś to samo wszyscy mówią. Nie ma sensu jej nawet dalej przypytywać. O, a ten Waldek jeszcze może.
Jesus Christ be... I'd like you to show me how... Certainly. I'd like to practice... All right. Isn't that quite... Agreed.
Okej, doskonaliłem sobie troszkę jazdę. I jeszcze zobaczymy, czy może coś powie ciekawego.
I don't know nothing.
That's all. Thank you.
Okej. Tu się jeszcze mogę wiedzieć. A gdzie jest ten ksiądz? Proboszczem, tutaj, dobra. Do karczmy pewnie trzeba się udać. Złodziej?
With that weapon. You'll get my sword.
Had enough? Yeah, you got me. For the love of God, I only stole a piece of bread. I was starving.
No excuses. Hand it over.
Here.
You got the thrashing you deserved. I hope you've learned your lesson.
Yes, sir.
You really
No,
let him
nieładnie.
go? Just like that? And did you get the loot back?
Oddychamy.
I did. I have it here.
Thank you. That thieving magpie. You can't trust anyone these days. And just so you know, I'm no pinch purse. Here's a small reward.
Thanks.
4 grosze. Okej, udajemy się do karczmy. O, tu chodzi o punkcie całym. Dobra, jeszcze udam się tutaj do karczmy. Karczma jest tutaj. Może tam się czegoś więcej dowiemy.
There.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre.
I don't know how I can help.
Who was this Lubosz who was murdered?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Do you know who Lubosz used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
Do you know what Lubosz was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
That's all. Thank you.
God bless.
Dobra. Idziemy do tego proboszcza.
The one I buy goods from. And he said right away he'll take them. And how much do I want for them?
Well, now.
I was surprised myself. But I wasn't sure Betty would even want to sell them.
Już nie rozmawiałem. Dobra, do proboszcza. Co ten proboszcz robi z tym mieczem?
I see you know how to wield a sword, Father. I wouldn't have expected that from a man of the cloth.
With a stick. I practiced with a stick. A reminder of my youth and days gone by, and it helps keep me in good form.
Do you have any work that needs doing?
My dear lad, I have more worries than I can bear. Another pair of shoulders would ease my burden. I have to deal with a local witch.
A witch?
The herb woman, old Gertrude. That devious hag who will stoop to anything. Like all herbalists, for that matter.
Oh, don't tell me. The cows are giving blood instead of milk, and babies are being born with 2 heads and a tail.
This is no laughing matter. Gertrude isn't evil. She just has peculiar ideas about what's good for people. A little bird told me she incited some Ujet's women to witchery.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to go and see her and find out what she's been up to. I know she lives in fear of the Holy Church, so tell her I sent you. That will make her talk and think twice about encouraging witchcraft. If you learn that she truly did involve folk in some foolishness, find out all you can and deal with it.
Consider it done.
Good. And never fear. I'm a man who always pays his debts. You'll find Gertrude, the old herb woman, in the woods. Jesus Christ be praised.
The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanush. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business...
Did you know Lubosz? What was he like?
Bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosz don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosz was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
But Lubosz is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone of the Holy Church. If people believed the sanctity of the confessional couldn't be trusted, the consequences would be even worse than that.
Worse than the death of innocent Christians? Worse than the murderer escaping punishment?
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosz was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional.
Ale uparty.
I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening. In the tavern. Over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
Karczmi. Dobra. Jeszcze mamy też czasu do wieczora. Przy okazji może się czegoś tutaj dowiemy. Jakiś zleceniodawca jest. Zielarka. Gdzie jest ta zielarka? Zielniarz. Przyspieszymy czas. Udajmy się do karczmy. Idę w drugą stronę.
Water. Good Christians, don't leave me to die. Give me a drink.
Good day to you. What do you need?
Może damy mu troszkę wody.
Please, or I'll die.
Wodę trzeba kupić.
Thank you. Thank you 100-fold. You have a good heart.
Nie wiesz, dlaczego nie cierpiał aż tak bardzo. Dobra, to się gdzieś tutaj usiądziemy sobie. I trzeba przyspieszyć czas. Niestety. Do wieczora.
I feel quite hungry.
Nie ma czego się napić. Zjeść coś.
Satisfied?
Boczek, lubię boczek. O kurczę, obiadłem się. Gdzie jest ten ksiądz? Tu jesteś.
I open, mate.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. but maybe we can work something out. But first, I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
One ale, please.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. When I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels, they almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
You think I'm too young for the job, Father?
I do, to tell the truth.
Well, I can only apologise for my lack of grey hair and gout.
Now the most important thing. What actually happened at Noyo? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claim. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Lubosz told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ushitz isn't
Co ja?
raw. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue-lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive fur, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
He's certainly a wise man. A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. It's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Mam nowy poziom w piciu. No proszę.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł dziesej smutek, dnielo i rano utek, niech już małżeński majstak, do wczera żylne staje prach. Už sejmojí svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jich učit. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední den. Půjďme se bávit a do rána slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra jen tu soudnej den. Tak nalej mi hned a točí se svět.
Enough of this! Bailiff! Come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out. Oh.
Będzie pisze do zarządcy, a tylko na księdza, a ksiądz tylko mi pisać.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Dwójka? To pobiłem się.
That's the best you can do. You ergot. Fuck it. Go down.
Chodź tu.
Not all you've got.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? Closer said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dear. Careful, you don't hurt yourself. Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
Cześć, a rano ci będę dzwonić dzwonem.
This is wonderful.
Jeszcze się zżygał. A to grubo.
And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Będą chędożyć?
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here. Oh.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
No, ładny ksiądz. Ten odcinek trzeba będzie dać tylko dla dorosłych. Ja jestem.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Jeszcze go trzyma. Ubili zarządcę, pochędożyli, popili.
Godwin, you beast. Get up. Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards.
Oh, fucking hell. Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry.
My great friend, Henry. And we have a wonderful time.
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look. From what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosz's cronies are.
No proszę, już zaczyna gadać.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
Well, all right. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Luboszcz.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Dobra. Gdzie są moje ciuchy? Aha. Czyli wszystko jasne. O, chyba wszystko. Co ma więcej nie mam do założenia? Ja się chyba miecza raczej nie będę zakładał, nie? I strzała. Okej. Będzie tak.
Never show up. He could hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him.
Widzę, że połowa ludzi tam narąbanych stoi.
Show up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas
Muszę odprawę po
ad
łacinie.
venerabilis a manus suas.
Lol.
Hoc facite in meam commemorationem.
Ja chyba się nie napiję.
Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will cue first.
Może długie kazanie.
Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. I am here to tell you about Mother Church and to show you through my words how she is falling into decay and abandon, how the once great mother of all Christians is losing her dignity and trading in souls like the merchants in the temple. But I am digressing.
That boy has a cheek.
Just as we are commanded to obey the priests in matters of virtue, so are we commanded to defy them face to face if they live contrary to God's commandments.
Hear that, Godwin?
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame! Shame upon them!
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk, prostitutes and troublemakers, performed a miracle so the feast could continue.
Now that's the kind of sermon I like to hear.
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Enough about sin,
Jak na razie
which the
dobrze nam
prelates
idzie.
are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Chyba się udało.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I suppose I'll never get to Prague. Told him nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosz tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubosz came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubosz kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubosz killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko. Pius, Timmy.
Pious. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall, too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.